Why do we teach with intention? Why is it important? A few years ago, I was working as a substitute teacher, and I was assigned about a 6 week assignment as a paraprofessional. During this time, I visited two different classrooms every single day, and both classrooms had co-teachers in them. The first classroom that I'll talk about was a third grade classroom. There were about 10 students with learning and behavioral disabilities, and then about 7 students that were identified as gifted students. And then the total number of students in that classroom, I think, was 22. Um, the teachers in this classroom were amazing. They went out of their way to plan and make their every aspect of their classroom experience was beyond what you expect. I loved going in there. I learned so much from these two teachers. They had their students dispersed evenly throughout the classroom. They taught in such a way that between their whole group and their small group lessons, the teachers were interchangeable. The teachers were fluid in the classroom. They moved back and forth. They worked together. They worked well together. Everything they did was strategic. It was planned. Um, I observed them as they worked together, both with preset goals and intent um, to meet the needs of the students in their classroom. There was very little downtime, and their planning and structure was completely evident. They taught with intention to provide high quality instruction to their students. The second classroom that I visited during this time was a fifth grade classroom. There were two teachers in in this classroom as well, and they were co-teaching. They had a group of 7 students that were identified as with learning disabilities, no real behavioral issues, and then they had about 5 that were identified as gifted. This was a class of probably 23 fifth graders, which was pretty good. The general education teacher completely did his own thing, and the special education teacher did her own thing. Um, and it was hard to watch. They did not have a plan or a goal, either one of them, and definitely not together. They argued about who was going to do what, and then by the time they were done arguing about who was going to do it, my time in there was already up. So I had not even helped a kid. I watched many times as they struggled, just basically power struggle, and then the fact that they were unorganized as well really hurt their time in the classroom. Many times the special education teacher would get so frustrated, she would just pull her students to the resource room for instruction. So no one was getting really what they needed. But I did learn a great deal from both of these experiences. Observing the struggles of teaching without intention was painful. I felt sorry for the teachers, and I felt sorry for the students. Um, but watching a classroom where the two co-teachers taught beautifully and taught with intent and passion was amazing, and taught me so much about what I wanted to be as a teacher and what teaching with intent really looked like. Um, I wondered too, as I was doing this, what was the difference between these two classrooms? They were a hallway apart, same school, both classrooms kind of mirrored each other as far as the numbers of students with learning disabilities, and then also giftedness, and having to go back and forth between those two extremes sometimes is hard in classrooms. So I thought about that role of it. But really, when it came down to it, the difference was just pure and simple. It was the intent of the classroom, the intent of the teachers, the attitudes they had about co-teaching. You could tell were completely different, and unfortunately, student learning was different. So to teach with intent, teachers must first understand why they should. And the why means that it offers your students a greater handling on their needs. They get their needs met. Teachers who teach with intent reach students and provide more than just an education or good instruction. They provide rich educational experiences that create lifelong learners. And that's the goal. That's the why.